Right, so this is part 2 of the Ernie Ball restoration, the MM1 Music Man, very early Music Man. In the last video I did all the sanding and removed all the paint. In this video I'm going to be staining and doing the candy on the top. All the edges are now masked off nicely, and the binding is all nice and clean. I'll probably have to just scrape the edge of the binding when I've finished the staining. But what I want to do is actually see if I can do one coat of this wood stain. Probably a bit of kitchen towel. Let's give it a go, see what we can do. What I think I'll do first is just work it in. I think I'm going to have to build it up in layers, I think. So this is just going to be basically the base, and then all the shading and things like that will all be done with the candy and the clear coat afterwards. It's a little bit greener than I want, but I might be able to build that up as I go along. I'll just get this on first, and then we'll see how it looks. Seems to be okay so far. Yeah, I didn't get a massive amount of wood dye. Let me just switch to a normal cloth actually. Just go and grab one with me a sec, don't go away. Using a bit of terry toweling cloth, I think it'd be a little bit better than that tissue. It seems to be just breaking apart with it being a water base. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I need to keep some of this as well for when I do the headstock, because I want that to match. So she'll do that as well. I think it's going to be a really nice colour when this is all clear as well, and it's got some depth to it. It'll really enhance the grain of the wood. Make sure I'm still recording. Yep. It doesn't go on as well as the Crimson Guitars wood dye or wood stain. It's not as intense a colour, but it's a more of a brighter blue than the Crimson one. Oh, nice bit of wood grain there, looks nice. We can enhance that a bit. Let's get a coat on and then we'll do a whole coat all over. And with the grain, make it all nice and smooth. So I've used probably about a third so far, it's not too bad. Try and just darken this edge up. It's bringing the grain out now. You can see through there. Give it a lift. Grain's starting to come out. Starting to look really nice. A little bit greener than I thought, but it's supposed to be like that blue. The wood is quite green as well, but I think with the candy as well, I think that will improve it. So what do I think? I'll let that dry for 10-15 minutes and then I'll give it another coat. We'll see how it looks. But up to now, I'm really liking that. So that's looking a lot better now. That's 3 coats of wood stain, about 10-15 minutes in between each one. Done the headstock as well. You can see some of the maple coming through. This will really enhance it when the candy's on there as well. That'll make it really pop. And I'm going to put a new logo through there. And I think that's not a bad colour match, is it? Not too bad at all. So the candy I'm going to put on is going to be very, very faint. It's probably going to be a 1/10 of the actual candy mixed in with a clear coat. It's basically just to give it a gloss as well. I may even put a little tiny bit of blue metal flake in there as well, just to make it pop, give a bit of a depth. And I'll probably fade the candy round as well, give it more of a sunburst look. And then that should really enhance the grain. But I'm really pleased with that. I've got my workbench now all set up, just here with some plastic around the actual area, and I mastered the guitar completely, same as the neck. I think I was actually going to go with my mini jet and go around with my mini jet, but I think I'm going to go with my airbrush first, just while it's in the workshop, because I'll do the final clear actually in the garage, away from all the nice pretty stuff, because the clear I can just coat on then. But the actual candy, I think I'm going to do with my airbrush instead of the actual mini jet. Just have a bit more control and be less overspray in here as well. My airbrush is a middle of the range job. This is from Expo Tools, I think it was. It's quite a nice little model actually. Do quite a lot of airbrushing and bits and pieces with it. We're not going to need a massive amount of clear coat to do the actual candy. I'll show you how I mix that up in a sec. We're just going to need a tiny little bit, probably about a 1/10, and then we'll just basically gently go round the outside edge with the candy, darken it all up a little bit around the neck as well. And then I'll go over the entire thing with probably 2 or maybe 3 coats of clear, and then we'll let that sit for probably 2 or 3 days before we can do any more work on it and oil the back and the sides before we can start rebuilding the actual guitar. I'm using my Vacillac scratch resistant water clear, so it's a nice clear, hasn't got any yellow tint to it. Just mixed up in this little plastic tub. That was a yogurt part, I think. I'm only going to need probably that much. And then some hardener. And that much. It's an exact science. I need to add a little tiny bit of the candy. Just get my other glove on actually, because lacquer is very sticky. And always wear a mask when you're using lacquer. It's quite nasty stuff. I may move the camera further away and just zoom in instead of having it close, because it will knacker the camera up as well. That's why I won't be actually filming, actually doing a full clear in the garage, because it doesn't destroy camera lenses quite easily. As we go probably around that much, we'll try that first, see how blue that goes. Quite a nice pearl in there as well. So let's add one little bit more, and that'll be okay. You see it's got like the pearl in there as well. Give that a really good stir, make sure there's no bits in it. I've not put any thinners in this just yet, so I want it to be quite thick and I want it to dry fast. As like I said before, it's a really fast hardener. I may even put some metal flake in when I do the final clear as well. But for this stage, I'm just going to be going in with the candy pearl. Okay, so you can see there's quite And the colour is quite a pale candy, it's not over the top dark. But I may change that in a minute when we got the first bit on. Okay, so I'll set the camera up probably further away, but zoomed in, so you can see what I'm doing without actually being too close. Right, so I'm pretty much the other side of the workshop, so you should be safe enough away from the clear. I'm going to open all the doors and the windows, so I've got some airflow. I need to get some extraction sorted in here as well, really, which is something is on the list. Your mask, must have your mask. Get this in here. I hope you can hear me over my muffled voice with my mask on, and I think it's just starting to take shape now. I think it's starting to look really nice. I'm not going to do any more candy now. Gone really dark on the edges here. I did add a tiny little bit of black into the candy just to give it that extra depth, a bit of more actual darkness to the actual candy, because I think it was looking a little bit too pale. I think that now gives it more of a sunburst look, and I think that really finishes it off. So I may go around the edge one more time, just with the dark, and then I'm going to call it for the actual colour. The next stage will just be probably maybe 2, maybe 3 coats of clear. I've decided I'm not putting any metal flake in it. I think that's just going to spoil it. I just want to have that nice glossy deep look into the wood. Right, the air's cleared in here now. I've managed to find an old fan, actually. I've got that running, so that's clearing a little bit of air in here as well now. So what I think I'll do now is let that sit for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to put 3 coats of clear on it, and then when that's dry we'll give it a really good flat and polish, and all these little bits of wood and things like that, all the grain standing up, will all disappear. So before the big reveal of the actual paint finish, remember this does need a flat and a polish, but I think you'll agree that's come out really, really nice. Yeah, you can still see some little bits of dirt in there. All that have been denibbed out, buffed up to make a really nice glossy finish. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. The fade's all nice. It's all faded in lovely. A little bit of wood grain through there. See all the different wood grains. Looks really good. The neck is very similar. It's gone a little bit darker, but I think that was because of the actual wood it's made from. Is slightly yellower, but it's not too bad actually. When it's on camera you can't really tell. You see some of the green in it like you can on there as well, but I'm really happy with that. So what we're going to do now is leave this to dry for a good 48 hours or so, and then we can take the masking off, clean up the binding edge and start oiling the back and the sides before we flat and polish it, and then we can start building it. But I have got work to do on the neck as well, so we shall probably do that in between drying times, etc. It's the next day and the clear coat is drying nicely. It's still a little bit soft because there's quite a bit of material on there. I think there's maybe 3 coats in the end, but I'm really pleased with how it looks. A good flat and a polish, and that'll look really, really nice. It'll get rid of some of all these, bits of wood and dirt and things that are just sticking up out of the actual wood. I've started demasking and taking the tape off the binding. So what I've got to do is actually go around after that and clean all the binding edge off just with a razor blade, just a normal Stanley blade. And then I've got to go around the edge here, I'll do this around the camera, and just gently clean all the paint off the binding. But the paint is still a little bit soft, so I may leave this bit until I've flattened and polished it, because I don't want to drag the paint and peel it off. So what I think I'll do is I'll remove all the tape around the edge. We'll start oiling the actual body and see what that looks like. Had a bit of a bleed through there as well, so I've got to sand that back as well, just where a bit of overspray came through onto the wood. So I'll just sand that back with a bit of 400, make sure that's all clean. And then I'll put it in the vise, I think, with the old trusty piece of wood. And we'll put some oil on it and see what it looks like. I'm just starting the actual oil. Like I said before, it's the Crimson Guitars Penetrating Finishing Oil. And just the actual, this is just one coat, and it's probably going to be about maybe 4-5 coats. And as you can see there, that's going to look really nice. It's really sort of bringing the grain out. And I think it's going to match the neck really, really well. And it's a maple neck, and I think it's a bass body. But I think that's going to look really nice against the actual blue as well on the front. And on the neck as well, I've basically gone around with a blade, just to, again, that scalpel blade, just to give it almost like a fake binding. This is all going to be flattered still, give it like a fake binding sort of look. So I'm really pleased with that as well. So I'll continue with the oiling of this body, get it all put on. I'm probably going to do one really good coat, leave it 20 minutes, buff it off, then I have to leave it for a couple of hours before you put the next coat on. So it's going to probably take me all the rest of the today. And then hopefully, even now, just after that one coat, that feels amazing. So I want to get it really, really nice luster, make it feel really glossy and really nice to hold in your hands when you're playing it. While I'm waiting for the oil to actually dry on the body, because you have to leave it 2 hours between coats, I thought I'd just get the tuners all done. I've had them soaking in a bath of WD-40 here. Just got all the other little bits and pieces in there now, so I'm just going to take them out, give them a wipe over with a nice cloth, give them a bit of a clean, and then we'll get them all back on the headstock. And it should all look nice and shiny and clean. In focus, there you go. Yeah, a little bit worn here and there, but should hopefully add to the look. They're quite good tuners actually, these. It's not focusing, is it? There we go. I think they're a Chinese make, but they seem quite solid. The only one I did have a problem with was that, where is it? Going to be the last one I pick, isn't it? There we go. Is that one with a little bit of corrosion there. But it seems to be working okay. So I may change that at some point. But I'd like to keep it as original as possible, and these were the original tuners. So that's 2 coats of oil on the body now, and it's coming out really, really nice, really smooth. I give that a really good polish as well in between coats. I'll probably, like I said, I'm probably do 5 good coats on here. I think I'm really happy with the look of that. Yeah, really nice. And the neck is all cleaned up. I've done a coat of oil on the actual fretboard. That's come out all nice. Probably needs a couple more coats as well. All the frets are all nicely polished. They're actually quite nice big frets, these actually. I don't think they're stainless because they polished up quite easily. It could really have done with a complete fret job, like I said, and redressing the fretboard, etc. But I'm really happy with that, and it's got a really nice sort of satin finish to it now, not the glossy finish. And the headstock is looking lovely. The tuners are all really, really nice now, all well oiled, feel really good. Like I said before, I made it look like it's got a binding around the edge by just scraping around the edge of the paint. And I put a new official license product sticker in the middle there, just in chrome. Just gives it that extra bit of bling. I think that looks really good. I wasn't going to actually paint it, but I'm glad I did now. I think it really matches the body, sort of sets it apart a little bit. So more coats of oil, probably going to take me, I don't know, into tomorrow now, because it's getting late now. I've got to go and take Woody for a walk, as you can probably hear him in the background barking. And he's ready for his walk, so I'm going to take him for a little stroll. And then I'll come back tomorrow, do probably another 3 coats on the oil on this, and then I'll flat and polish the front and get that all nice and flat and shiny. We can start looking at the electrics and the problems with the DiMarzio pickups. So as the back is pretty much had 5 coats of oil on there, I'm going to let that just really dry in, then I'll give it a nice buff off, probably with a nice soft buffing wheel on the machine polish. You just give it that extra bit of luster. I'm actually starting to flat the actual front of the guitar. I started with a 1500 and that's coming out really nice. I'm just going to go over now with a 2000 just to actually refine the actual finish a little bit more, remove any 1500 scratches, and then I'll go over with a 3000 by hand and maybe a 6000, and then we'll polish it back up with the machine polisher. But I'm actually really pleased with the finish on this. It's come out really nice and flat, nice and glossy. It's going to have some real depth to it. I'm really glad I didn't put any metal flake in it, because I think that would have detracted away from the finish and made it a little bit too over the top. I think this finish would be nice. When I've done as well, I'll go around the binding again just with the razor blade, just to clean it all up a little bit and just to finish that off. But I'm really happy with all that. I think it's coming out really nice. And the neck is pretty much done. All I want to do next is give the frets a final polish. I've leveled them a little bit, got all the actual scarring out. They just need a final polish now. The actual neck is all cleaned. That again, it'll need, it's a bit sticky still, so it just needs a little bit of a drying time and then a buff over, and then I'll buff all the frets up with my fret polishing kit. I've seen some good things about the Fretilizer kit, so I may invest in one of those as well. I've heard they're really good. You get nice little bits and pieces with it, so I might even give that a go. But I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really nice and it matches the body. Okay, so I'll continue flatting with the 2000, it's just the 2000 Abralon I'm using, and then a 3000 Trizac, and then I think I've got a 6000 as well, so I may even just go over with that, like I said, just to accentuate the actual finish, because you don't know if you can see on camera, you probably can't. Actually, there's some little scratches here left by the 1500, so once they're all out, then I'll go on to the 3000, and once all the scratches are out of that, I'll go on to the 6000, and then it'll give a really nice glossy finish. So I've just started the first stage of polishing just with the 3M green head and the cutting paste, and I'm not happy with the finish. I don't know if you can see that on camera there. You see all the scratch marks. So I think the lacquer is still a little bit soft, so I think I'm going to leave this overnight, then I'm going to re-1500 it, and then 2000 and 3000, because it shouldn't be scratching as much as that. It should be polishing up a lot nicer. The gloss is okay, it's just loads of scratches in it, and it shouldn't be like that, so I think it is still too soft. So like I said, I'm going to leave this overnight and we'll come back to it in the morning. It's been about a day and a half since the last clip, and I've re-1500 it all over. Then I did a 2000, and then I was just starting to polish it back up with some cutting paste. The cutting paste I've been using is the Festool one, as you can see. I've got none left, so I've ordered some more cutting paste. I've also gone over with the Autoglym Paint Renovator and here we are, 3M Ultra Fine. I'll be finishing off with that. That'll be the last thing. That will remove any holograms and any fine swirls. It was a really nice glossy finish, and then I'll probably go over the top with a hand glaze just to give it that extra bit of luster and gloss. And then when that's all done, I can clean up the back, because there's a little bit of drippage from the wet flatting. Probably give it a bit of a buff as well with the machine polisher, just to get the oil all nice and glossy, Another back all shiny and it feels amazing now anyway. And then I'm going to put the neck back on and the bridge on after I've cleaned all that up, ready for doing the wiring. Really nice and glossy and shiny now. It's got that real nice depth with the candy. You can see into the wood. See the wood grain and things through there. It's beautiful. What I'm going to do now is actually seal the paint first. I'll be using Smart Sealant. They don't even make this anymore. The company went bust probably about 10-15 years ago. I've had this in stock for a long time. Cost me 18 quid, which is ain't cheap even back then. I really like this because it protects the paint, hides any small imperfections and increases the gloss level as well. I've also used a similar thing, which is a glaze, not a sealant. There's the Auto Finesse glaze. It does a very similar thing. You can put this on with a machine polisher as well. It's really, really good stuff. And another one of my favourites, Auto Perfection Pro Glaze, paint glaze. It's the same sort of thing. Basically bonds to the actual paint and then enhances the gloss. And you can build it up in layers as well. You can actually put it on, let it haze, take it off, and then just keep building it up till you get a really nice glossy finish. I like to do that before I build the guitar up, and then when I've built the guitar, I'll give it a nice coat of probably a spray wax or something like that, even like a turtle wax or something like that, just to give it that extra bit of gloss and protection. Just helps protect the paint from scratches. It's going to get scratched anyway. If it gets played, it's going to get scratched, but it just gives it that extra finished look. So what I do with this, give it a really good shake, and then I use a nice clean microfiber. Get these off of Amazon. They're massively expensive. Put a nice good squirt on there, and then I just put it on in a nice circular motion all over. It smells amazing, this stuff as well. Quite chemically smelling, but has a perfume to it as well. But they don't make it anymore. I don't wonder why they actually went bust. The products are always really good. But again, I suppose there's still a lot of competition for all car wax and polishing stuff out there. Okay, just a nice coat like that. I'll leave that 10-15 minutes, give it a buff, then I'll repeat the process 4 or 5 times till we get a nice glossy finish. Right, so as the paint glaze is just drying, I think it's the 3rd coat on there, I thought just have a quick look at the bridge. I'll give it a bit of a clean just with a WD-40 in a pot and a little toothbrush, just to clear off any dirt and grime. It's pretty clean anyway. I don't want to get into stripping this down, which I could do, but I have noticed it looks like the intonation's all been set on this, so that'd be quite nice if that's all pre-done. I can just give it a little check. So it looks like it's actually been looked after, this guitar, and played a lot over the years. I think they were 90s, early 90s when they were first made, the MM1s. So it's probably seen a lot of playtime. It's not the thickest bridge, but I think it should be alright. It's nice and solid. So I'm just going to clean all the little bits of chrome off. Just get them all nice and clean. Then I'll put it back on the guitar. Ooh, shiny. Right, I've got it back on the bench and still some polish to come off here. It's just a little bit greasy still, so I'll just give it another buff. I'll probably give it another couple of coats still, just to give it that extra little bit of protection and gloss. The bridge is all nice and polished. I did have to change one of the screws. One of the screws had rounded off, all the crosshead had actually knackered, so I replaced one of those. All the other ones are in good condition. Got the neck on now as well, and I think you'll agree, that's a really nice looking guitar now. I've got to give the frets another bit of a buff, just to give them a little bit of a polish. Well, I do that when it's on the bench. Lay it down and put it on the bench. It's easy to do it that way. All the fret ends are nice now, all nice and smooth. Feels really, really good. So I think that's going to be it for this video. It's probably gone on quite long enough, but I'm really happy with that. It's got a really nice gloss level to it. The candy is really nice. You can still see the wood grain through it. I've got to scrape the binding a little bit. I'll do that when the paint is fully cured, so probably in about a week or so. And then I'm going to have a look at the electrics and get it all wired up. But like I said, when I took the guitar apart, these DiMarzio pickups are going to need quite a bit of attention, I think. They're going to need a good clean and sorting out the wiring. I might even try and talk Stan the man into doing a little bit of soldering for me, because I'm pretty crap at soldering really, and he's really good at it. There's a lot of electrical stuff and PC rebuilds and stuff like that, so I'll probably give him, might twist his arm, see if he can come and give me a hand with that. But that'll be coming up probably in the next video. So if you've liked this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. Stay tuned for more guitar content, because we've got quite a few little projects to do. Telecaster there, the old Strat over there, that's the Squire, and 2 more little jobbies here have got to be done. So I've got quite a bit of content coming up, all going to have custom paint finishes. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video.